Hello, I'm David Hunt, and welcome to Stayin Alive, a panel show about ageing queers. On the panel today, we have the gorgeous, yes, she is still gorgeous this week, Leanne Renfree from Switchboard.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Greg Adkins from Anti-Violence Project Victoria. Welcome, Greg.
David.
And the ever young Gordon Wilson, Secretary of Vintage Men.
Thank you, David.
Now, today's topic is retirement for our community. Leanne, this is something that you know a fair bit about.
I'm not retired though, unfortunately, so it's not
Well, this
personal.
one is.
Yeah, I do know a little bit about that. I know that particularly in our community that once people leave work, they can be quite isolated. That there's probably a tendency with the calls that we get at Switchboard for people not to have the same social life that they had before. Now, I mean, a lot of people have groups of friends and particularly if they're partner to have that life. But if someone's on their own, work's often been very, very important to them, and once they've retired, they're not sure where to go out. You know,
A lot of people get lost, don't they?
Yeah,
when
they
they
do.
first retire, they don't know what to do,
That's
and
right.
that's why it's important. Now, you're retired. You've been retired for, about 30 years now, would it be?
Yes, something like that, David. Yeah. No, I retired in 2002, I think it was. So
Okay.
I've been retired for 12 years, but I retired and immediately kept going with doing all sorts of other things. I first of all, I had to, I renovated the entire inside of the house.
Yep.
I pulled that apart and had new flooring put down, and I repainted and I did the lot. That took a couple of years to do.
But a lot of people can't afford to do things like that. There are a lot of people out there from our community who are finding it a bit tough. Greg, what's your thoughts on this?
Well, I mean, you're talking to someone that's just started pulling in the superannuation thread, so there's one bucket of money that hopefully will stretch a bit longer, and maybe I'll have a pension as well, or maybe not. Depends who's in power, doesn't it?
Have you looked into what benefits you will get once you're on a pension?
Yeah, I have. I mean, and I had 6 superannuation funds, and one of them rose to about 180,000 and then halved in a 6-year period. So it's about working out how do you move that with the least amount of cost to pull it out, and where do you park it? How do you start to prepare for the last third of your life when you have the fun?
Yep. And Gordon, you're doing it very well because you did set yourself up extremely well.
Oh,
didn't
yeah,
you?
yeah. Well, I work,
like Greg's doing now.
Yeah, but I worked 2 full-time jobs.
Yep.
And invested the money in shares and property and all the rest of it. So I'm actually self-funded retiree. I can't get a pension, so I have to pay for everything.
Right. Support. This is the big thing for our community. There is a lot of support out there for the general community, but for within our community, it's a little bit difficult because a lot of people are struggling with that fact that they're getting a bit older. And what do we do now? You know, like, are we going? We can't go out to. Well, you don't go out to bars. You're not interested in going to bars. Some people do, but a lot of people don't.
But I'm going
want
to bed when it used to be time to go out, and I'm getting up when it used to be time to come home.
Exactly.
So
you know, with support, you know, like there doesn't seem to be enough organisations who are getting ready for this huge amount of people from our community that's going to be out there, quite lonely in a lot of cases.
Exactly.
I believe there's a conference coming up.
There is. There's 2 things I guess I can say about that. One is that there's an LGBTI Aging and Age conference coming up in October. So that's going to be at Melbourne Town Hall, and that's
Who's supporting that?
That's Val's Cafe and Alzheimer's Australia.
Oh, excellent.
Are doing that, and also Switchboard, which is a peer-based phone counselling service, recently decided to apply for funding to do another peer-based service, which we've called Out and About, which is actually funding that we've got to run a volunteer service to visit older LGBTI people across Victoria.
Excellent.
So we've got a project officer for that, and we're still looking for volunteers to go out fortnightly for a couple of hours, depending on who they're visiting. It could be going to the movies, or just having a cup of tea with them at home, or watching a movie, or whatever it might be. So it's been acknowledged that that's a need, and we're really proud that we're able to deliver that service.
Greg, from your front with the anti-violence, are you finding that older people are being being picked on a little bit more? You know, like an easy role to get whatever they've got in their pocket?
To jump to that, we're finding that people volunteer later in life, so therefore the opportunity to get more volunteers is the best thing about having a booming retirement market. There'll be more volunteers, more people volunteering for the first time as they start to age.
Yep.
That's a positive, because then they can support people that are slightly older better, they can relate better to people, and they can support them if they experience violence or prejudice or ageism. There's older gay men and lesbians. It's around how our own community impacts us in a negative way by the ageist practices that we've picked up from the broader community.
Yeah. Absolutely. Gordon, how do you find it? You know, like, are you ever feeling threatened? You know, like, because you catch public transport a bit, and you're like, there's never been a problem for you?
Never been a problem at all, as far as for me anyhow. I don't say that everybody else is like me, but I think that you just, I think it's the way you hold yourself and carry yourself when you're out.
Absolutely.
You've got to be confident in what you're doing, because as soon as you start to sort of look a bit doddery or vulnerable or something or other, you could
like
be made a victim. But I can always walk. I walk pretty good and pretty straight, you know, so it doesn't worry me, you know, and I just look straight ahead.
It's called mincing.
Is it called mincing? Is it there? Oh, I must remember that.
What about the realisation of downsizing? Because you hear about it so often that, you know, like you've got relatives and they just won't downsize. They want to stay in that family house or the house they've been in. They don't want to move into new facilities. You know, like, that's a worry, isn't it? I
think they should embrace it. I mean, I've done that step already. I've done the suburban, 3-bedroom backyard, every weekend mowing the lawns, doing the pool.
You're so butch.
And I'm now in an apartment in the city.
Yep.
You know, so that's much closer to the environment. And sometimes I'm back out in suburbia, living in an apartment there. It's where you want to be, but it's the apartment lifestyle now offers that flexibility. You don't carry all that baggage with you. You don't have to pay for storage space, and you've got a freer income to start to live your life. Just because you're getting older doesn't mean you have to shut down and not enjoy life.
That's right. Your interests don't stop. And I mean, you want to be near the theatre and the movies and all those things that you feel like doing, being active.
We could go on so much about this because it's such a hot topic of the whole downsizing, and hoarding is a real problem as well, because somebody's got to clean it up down the track as well.
I've already started that.
Have you? Good on you, because I hear you've got a fair bit of stuff.
Yeah.
So thank you everyone for watching today's episode of Staying Alive.